There is a story of two painters that you may have heard. Because repetition is good for our minds, I'm going to tell it again. In ancient Italy, a master artist was commissioned to paint a glorious mural. He sketched the design so large that it covered the entire wall of the great cathedral. He taught the techniques and designated the colors for his assistants. Day after day, the two assistants labored, adding color, layers, textures, nuances to bring life to the design. One day, a man entered the cathedral. Curious about the activities he saw, the man wandered to the first assistant and asked, "Well, what are you doing?" The assistant turned from his palette and looked at the stranger. He looked back at the wall, scanned the freshly applied oil paint, and replied, "I am painting shades of green on this space." Then he turned back to his work. "Indeed he is," thought the stranger. Then the man wandered to another portion of the sketched wall to where the second assistant worked. He watched for a time as the painter climbed up the rungs of a small ladder. The painter moved between floor level and the top of the ladder. With expert strokes, he colored various portions of the wall. Seeing the stranger, the assistant stopped. He climbed down to stand in front of this man. "What are you doing?" asked the stranger. The assistant closed his eyes and took a deep breath. "Oh," he said softly, "I am helping to create a monument to the magnificence of life." Are you painting green space, or are you helping to create a monument to life? Reality and truth is very subjective. What you see is defined from who you think you are and what you have been taught. How women interpret their existence, their dreams, and their ideas reflects the social box that mass culture has told them is real. Often it is tainted with discounting, violence, and subtle messages that says, "Stay small, be still." Women have often seen themselves as painting a shade of green, nothing important, nothing of significance, even believing they have so little paint that there is real danger that they will run out. Alice Walker has written, "The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any." Consider Wangari Maathai of Kenya. In response to the needs of rural Kenyan women who reported that their streams were drying up, their food supply was less secure, and that they had to walk farther and farther to get firewood for fuel and fencing, Wangari encouraged the women to work together to grow seedlings and plant trees to provide food and receive a small monetary token for their work. It began with 7 trees. Then others rallied, spread the word, and as of last year, they have planted over 1 billion trees around the planet. When Wangari got word that she had received the Nobel Peace Prize, she said, "I didn't know anyone was watching." At age 11, Girl Scouts Madison and Rhiannon had a report to write. They knew of Jane Goodall and all her work with the chimpanzees. So, at one of their sleepovers, they decided to research through the internet and find an issue on the planet they could embrace. They discovered the picture of a huge rainforest bulldozed in order to make room for plants for palm oil. The next image was of a dead orangutan mother with her tiny baby, big eyes alight, peeking over his mother's lifeless body. They wept and committed to not buy or consume one bit of food made with palm oil. As they read labels, they discovered that palm oil is in just about everything. They spread the word. Then came the annual Girl Scout cookie campaign. They read the label, and to their shock, palm oil was in every cookie they had been selling for years. $7 million worth of cookies. So they took on the Girl Scout cookies leaders and said, stop this ingredient. 5 years later, the Girl Scout leaders announced they will not use deforested palm oil in their cookies. Not good enough for Madison and Rhiannon. They continue with the Girl Scouts and have taken on Kellogg and now the makeup industry. At Weaving the World Media, we know that the project's contributions, dreams of girls and women are creating a new world that honors and brings magnificence to life. They are all connected. They are emerging from the web of life, a web of equity, diversity, generosity, abundance, and love. Our stories, whether written or spoken or viewed, will remind you of this new world and encourage you to jump in and participate. The Green Belt movement in Kenya began with 7, is now over 1 billion. Maddie and Rhiannon began with 1 orangutan baby and is now saving rainforests around the world. Are you painting green space, or are you assisting creating a magnificent life?